Yeah, let's get started. So, where we begin. Okay, who am I? Am I qualified enough? Probably. I mean, I hope I'm qualified enough. But I'm Michelle. React. I like doing front end stuff. React is my main passion and strength. Slightly more questionable, but I'm here, so you guys kind of have to listen to me. I did previous front end development intern at later. And currently in nwPlus, I'm a PM. And then I have a lot of React projects, like all the photos that you're seeing there are made with React. Kind of to start with it, give a bit of a disclaimer. If you like, usually the wow factor of looking at the thing comes from CSS, not the React, but we're not, CSS is out of scope for this workshop and making things look pretty. We're gonna focus on the functionalities and I guess functional part of the app. So whatever we're gonna create will probably not gonna look like that, but just letting you know, I have a lot of React projects in my pocket and I think I have the minimum kind of, okay, yeah, minimum kind of qualification to do this. So we have lovely TAs, super stacked actually. We have Jay, who was the previous dev director, Martin is the pres, Melvin is this year's dev director, and then we have Donald. Yeah. So yeah, TAs will be around the entire workshop. If you have any questions or something's not working, feel free to like raise your hand, make an eye contact, make it obvious that you're not stretching, you're like, you need help. So they can come and help, but they're like super stacked. They're arguably smarter than I am. So I think they'll be nice asset. Table of contents, yeah. So the things that will be covered in this workshop is pretty basic. I wanted to be like super friendly to someone who only heard the word React and don't even know what the fuck that is. So yeah, I'm gonna do a quick intro, talk about what React is, and then there's a little like a quiz Mentimeter thingy for revisiting HTML and CSS. You guys probably just like a lot of you were just in the web dev workshop, so probably easy peasy. And then I'm gonna talk about React components and break if we have time. And then, yeah, I'll talk about React statement hooks a bit at the end. Okay, so what is React? So React is a JavaScript library. So what is library? Library is kind of predefined set of functionalities that like is out there, that is published and anyone can use it. So you don't have to code everything from the scratch. So the good thing about React is first, it's super flexible. It does allow, I guess, users or developers to kind of decide on what they want to do with whatever and like all the hooks and state management and everything themselves. So it's super flexible and it's declarative, whatever that means is, so in vanilla.js, you manipulate the DOM yourself. I think you did talk about the DOM in the web dev workshop before. But basically what it does is it's a programming interface for HTML. It is like all the things you see as an HTML tree when you run an app. So in vanilla.js, you kind of take the element yourself and manipulate it and change it and update it, do whatever you want. In React, you don't have to do it yourself. You basically tell the DOM or tell the HTML saying like, oh, this is what I want, do it. And then it does it. So it's a lot kind of simpler, I guess, in a sense, that you don't have to tell it every single like little thing that you want it to do. And also it's really intuitive. So the syntax is like pretty nice, that it combines HTML and JavaScript into like a one thing. So with this, you don't have to create like separate files for like one file for HTML, one file for JavaScript, one file CSS and all that. You can kind of smoosh them together and have it in like a single file, which is pretty nice. Okay, so we have like a little Mentimeter thing that I prepared to revisit HTML and JavaScript. I hope it works. Oh, it says I am presenting. Let me go back. Oh, this is. Okay, whatever. I'll just present here and then. Yeah, while I'm presenting, if you guys didn't have time or chance to do the pre-workshop task, you can kind of skip the Mentimeter and do the task yourself. But yeah, let's see how it goes. Okay, so I'll wait for everyone to drill in. Hopefully this works. Oh, awesome. Okay, I'll wait like another, I don't know, 5, 4, 3, 2, another a bit for everyone to join. Also, I think people will be able to join like after each question as well. But yeah, give me a bit of time. 39 is 42. Awesome. And this quiz will mostly cover HTML and CSS or HTML and JavaScript concept that I'll be using in this workshop. So it's like no way comprehensive at all. Like there are so many things I don't cover in this quiz that is in the world of JavaScript and HTML. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Oh my God, there are so many. Okay, 75 shown. Okay. Wow, that's a lot of people. Okay, let's go. I think that's about everyone. Okay, let's get started. First question. Yeah, answer fast to get more points. What is not a real HTML tag? Everyone has voted. Let's see what the thing was. Project. Hey, correct. Okay, form. Yeah, I threw it in because I knew some people's going to choose it. But yeah, form is HTML tag validation until H1 heading, the largest heading. If you want to look like you're shouting at someone, you use H1. And then image for image. Div is kind of a container for everything. Okay, next question. Everyone's voted. Oh, awesome. Okay, what does this say? Is H6 the smallest header tag? Okay, yeah, H6 is the smallest header tag. Most applications don't use all the way to H6, to be honest, but if you want anything smaller than H6, you would probably have to do some like play around with CSS to make it happen. Okay, next question. Correct way to close a progress tag. Okay, let's see. I'm hoping everyone get this one right. Okay, not bad. Yeah, so you do slash and then whatever the tag name, not only progress, but any kind of HTML tag, you're gonna close it that way. Okay. Which attribute specifies the path to the image in image tag? Oh, so quick, lovely. Okay, everyone got SFC, right? Right? I think it's really, like, it's so slow. Oh, okay, I mean, yeah, nice job, 96 people. Okay, leaderboard. So currently, that's actually really close. I mean, fair. But donut is the fastest, and then, yeah, great job, everyone. There's still like, what, 4 more questions left. Now I'm gonna ask questions about JavaScript. Oh, it's kind of like, it varies a bit more. Yeah, struct is not used in JavaScript. I know there's a lot of other languages out there that does use struct for like class definitions and stuff like that, but it's not a variable declaration that's used in JavaScript. Okay. All correct answers get max points. I think you can see it if you do want to see it better. Here are the options. This is hard, right? Yeah. Why is Michelle giving all of us like such a hard time? Okay. Is it everyone? Everyone has voted. Awesome. Okay, let's see. What? Oh, nice. But yeah, the answer is a trick question. Haha. So the answer is all of them are like a valid way for JavaScript description declaration. So the first two is declaration that has like function name specified, and then the last two is anonymous function. It's also like called lambda function, I guess, if you can, if you want to think about it that way. The number two is the way to, I guess, is the arrow function way of using number one, and then number four is the arrow function way of writing number three. So yeah. Next. Another all answers give max points. How do you import? Okay. How's it? Okay, still triggering. Everyone vote. Hopefully. Okay, yeah, another trick question. All of them are like a valid way to import a model. It kind of does different things, but they're all valid way to import things in JavaScript. Okay, I think the next one, oh, the leaderboard. So that was all the questions. Let's see how the leaderboard has changed. Oh my God. Oh, I guess it's Donut. Good job, Donut. I have no prize, but you got bragging rights. Oh, I guess yeah. If you're a donut, you can like raise your hand, and I guess one of the TAs can go and give you the prize and bragging rights. You're the best out of 90 something people. Awesome. Okay. Let's go back to the Okay, let's go back to the slideshow. So hopefully that was enough to give you like a nice recall of what you did like what 50 minutes ago. Okay, and then now let's go back to the workshop slides. What my goal is by the end of this workshop, you will be able to make this. It looks pretty simple, but it's gonna use a lot of things that you might have not known before. So yeah, and maybe it can be used as your like personal profile, portfolio with like listing your projects and stuff like that. So that's my goal, and hopefully everyone will be able to get that by end of this workshop. Okay, so we're gonna look quickly into the project file structure. Everyone probably at this point have their what's my call the pre-workshop requirements done. So let's look at file structure. What you see a bunch of things just pre-populated and created for you, and you're like, what are these even like mean? So first thing is SHC directory. So everything in here is most of the things that you'll be working with most of the time. Like all the app.jsx and index.css, main.jsx, these are the kind of auto-created files that you will see once you run npm run dev thing. And then there's node modules folder. You usually don't want to touch this or don't have to touch this. This is a directory that's pre-populated. When you run npm install, it has all the packages and stuff inside it. And there's package.json and package.log file. These are the files that you will kind of define all the packages that you will install. And so basically you will define it in package.json, and then you do npm install, and then the installed one will go into the node modules. And then there's a public folder where all the public stuff goes there, but the definition is kind of milky. It says basic files. If you have like, I don't know, favicon or like a little icon on the top of your tab or something like that, then you want to put it in public. So, okay. So that was like a quick overview, so you know what you'll be working with. Before we go into really start coding, I'll give like a quick overview of like what component is. So React is all about components. Everything is components. You you want to break down it into component as much as possible, if it's reasonable to do so. And some things is that components always have a view to them, which means it has kind of a like front-end component that you will be able to see to it. And then they usually also have a functional aspect. And it could totally be like a purely aesthetic component that doesn't do anything and is static. But usually components also have its own like little JavaScript functionality that comes with it that does like, I don't know, button click or changing colors, or maybe it's a bit more complicated and do like REST calls and API calls and stuff like that. But yeah, they have a functional aspect to it, and it's a lot more readable and reusable. So the rule of thumb is if you're rendering part of your view in more than one place, or the view has a complex functionality, then it should be its own component. So little activity here. So this is directly taken from Google Maps. I did just screenshot it and cut it up. And we're gonna try to like identify some potential components in here. I don't know if anyone want to like any brave soul to want to like raise hand and kind of throw it there, or does everyone feel like extra antisocial and like not talking today? Oh, okay. Yeah, the entire map. Yeah, the map will probably have a lot of functionality on its own, so you probably want to extract that as a component. I think I saw like a hand somewhere too, but oh yeah.
I guess like images for the restaurants, I guess like go into them and see like a slideshow of
Oh yeah, I guess yeah, if the images have its own functionality where you like click it and it shows like all the images, then yeah, definitely. Not only the images, but actually each of the result, like each restaurant can also be its own component as well, since it's basically the same format but appears in multiple times. Perfect. Okay, amazing. Everyone, that's great. And then now looking at the website again, we can identify a singular component actually, because I didn't have enough time, I only put one, which is you can see how under the projects, each quote unquote project have a project title and the image. So since like the Max's website and like Wendy's website kind of follows the same format and it appears twice, and maybe if if you're on the grind mindset, maybe you will have like so much more websites that will appear so many more times, we can probably extract that out as its own component. Okay, so next thing. Okay, so we want to code that component. How are we going to do it? So one cool thing or different thing about React is that you know how when you're coding with pure vanilla JavaScript, the file extension is like app.js, sending for JavaScript. For React, you want to use JSX extension, which is like, it allows you to use HTML instead of JS. It's one of the pros that I mentioned earlier. So what does that mean? That means, for example, in this greet function, you're returning hello, and then curly brackets user. So that means like whatever the user variable is, we can just put it in the HTML tag and then return it like that. If you were to do it in pure JavaScript, you would probably have to do like make a string that's like hello, whatever the username first, and then you're gonna get like element by ID or something, and then like change the content with that string. But in React, and if you use JSX, what you can do is you can just say like, oh, like everything inside that braces is a variable. You're gonna take it and you're gonna evaluate it before you get whatever the return is. So it's gonna take the user and it's gonna take the user variable and evaluate it, and then maybe username is like what, Michelle or Donald or Melvin, then it's gonna take that and then swap it out to hello Donald before returning it, and then you can return it whatever you want. So that's the amazing thing about JSX, and that's what we're going to be using for creating React components. Okay, so now we're going to do a little follow along thing and try to make our very first component. Okay, so go back to the thing. And actually, let's try to run it at the same time. I think that would be pretty nice. So as always, we want to go into the front end directory first. Well, usually, like, if you are making app purely based on React, you don't need that front-end directory. But in like real life application, how it's usually is you have like a front-end directory that has all the front-end stuff, and then there's a back-end folder that has all the back-end stuff. So I kind of wanted to replicate that. If you want to build up on this project later on, you can just make like a back-end folder that you don't need to do huge refactoring after. So, okay, we go cd front end, and then we're gonna do the npm dev. I think that's what it is. Okay. And we're gonna go to the localhost. Awesome. Okay, so everyone should be seeing this, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to app.jsx, and everything in here is the things that's being shown right now, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna delete everything, because why not? So everything inside the empty brackets, we're gonna, or empty tag, we're gonna, oh wow, we're gonna select all of them and delete it. And we're gonna also delete the constants and imports that we're not using to make JavaScript happy. And if we save it, we should be seeing empty white screen if we go back, and hopefully that happens. Awesome, there's nothing, like my head. Okay, anyways, okay, so we start with the blank canvas as we want. So what we want to do is, I guess looking at the component again, we want to have the title and the image. So let's just add that here. In here, we're gonna do, like, let's do h1 because like it doesn't, or actually h1 or h3, I guess it seems like I used that for the example. It doesn't really matter. If you're feeling like yelling, then you can do h1. Personal website, which will be like a website title. For now, I just did like personal website, and then we're gonna add the image with the src tag that we then let me just say like personal website. Sure, this is the thing that I use, like, I guess. So copy link address, and oh, let me go back here and put it in the src. Oh wow, it's long, but it's okay. Okay, and then if we save, you should be able to see that empty blank canvas now have the, I guess, per title saying personal website, as well as the image. So let me see if that's the case. I hope that is the case. Oh my God, the image is not working. Okay, let me try the other image address. Here. Oh, okay, yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah. Oh, okay. Is this loud enough? Is it loud or as loud as it was before? Yeah, okay, awesome. Okay. Is this still not working? Interesting. Let's see. Actually, let's just do so subtle, not so subtle plug that this is my personal website. And let me just copy image address from here. You guys can choose whichever one that like works. But I don't want to waste more time here. So this for sure should work. Oh my God, it's big, but it's there. Okay, so we're gonna do things later on to, I guess, fix this sizing and stuff later on. But for now, we keep it big. I think that's okay. Okay, so we have it in app, but we want to make it into a component. How are we gonna do it? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a new file called like project.jsx. And then inside the src folder, you're gonna make project.jsx. Oh, JSX. Okay, and then I'm gonna put it in a split screen for now. I don't know if it's actually gonna be helpful or not, but. And then what we wanna do, or what we are going to do, is we're gonna just copy the entire file over here. Okay, and always like just feel free to let me or any of the TAs know if I'm going too fast so I can like slow down. But once you finish copying everything from app.jsx over to project.jsx, we're gonna save it, and then we're gonna change the function name. So right now, if you were to, I guess, import this project.jsx file to use it, it's gonna export like app, which is incorrect. We wanna export the project.jsx. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna change the name of the function that's being returned to project and save it. And so far, we didn't make any change to app.js, and app.js is the one that's being shown when we go to the local host. So it shouldn't have not changed anything. It still has the grossly large image and all that. And you can keep it that way, it's okay. Okay, and what we want to do is now, instead of using this hard-coded H3 and image here, we want to use this project component instead. And how we're going to do it, so we can delete these two tags here because we already have it in the project folder. And then we're going to use project component that we just created. And components are it uses glorified HTML tag, which is, you can go project. And amazing thing about VS Code and a lot of other code things are that it kind of tells you where or what to import. So usually if you write like it tells you like which one you want to import, and then you can enter, and on the top it imports the project for you. If it doesn't, you can type it in yourself, like there's nothing wrong with it. But yeah, we can do this, and then we cannot forget our little closing tag. And when we save it, it's supposed to show the exact same thing. We basically just moved the H3 over and then kind of put it in it. Let's check that's the case. If we refresh as well, yeah, it looks the same with extremely large photo and all that. But now the amazing thing about it is if we want to have more projects, we can just like copy and paste the project component, and this will like duplicate the component. So if you save here, now you're gonna have two grossly large project photo like this. Awesome. Okay, so that was the project, and I'll leave the code here for now. Is everyone following okay? Okay, no one's crying, so I'm assuming it's okay. Okay, let's go back to the slides then. Okay, so next thing we're gonna do is props. So right now, if we just copy and paste project component multiple times, it's gonna show the same photo, same like text and everything every single time. But we don't want to do it. Like we don't want to, like we want to be able to customize it to a point that like each, I guess, project component you should be able to have like different project titles or different project photos and stuff like that, right? So how we're going to do it is we're going to do it through props. And what does that mean? It's shortened for properties. Components each accept properties. It flows down. You don't really have to worry too much about it. That means you cannot like edit props in the child component, or yeah. And you may pass in as many props as you would like. So if you want to pass in like project title, project image, project length, project description, project like XYZ, you can pass in as many as you want. And yeah, so that's kind of an example here that is from like grocery store example. So for each grocery store item, we can pass in props called fruit that kind of tells or defines which fruit that item is. So if we do like, if the item component takes in props called fruit, and if it returns the h1 heading with the props.fruit, what it's gonna do is it's gonna, in the grocery store component, it's gonna, I guess, evaluate what the component inside is, and then gonna be like, oh, the props passed in is apple. So now I'm gonna put apple in that props.fruit and then swap it off. So it's gonna turn into grocery store with h1 apple and then h1 orange and then h1 tomato, or tomato or whatever. Okay, so now we're gonna try to do that ourselves so we can have multiple different projects at once. Okay, so the first thing, we're gonna start with the project.jsx file. So we're gonna tell the component that you can expect the prop to be passed in. So yeah, you write prop inside the, I guess, function as an argument. And then we're gonna, as I said, anything inside the curly brackets, you consider as a variable and we're gonna evaluate it as a variable. So we're gonna do that, put curly brackets and then say props or prop. Let's do S because we will have multiple props. Props dot title, because it will have the project title. And then you can also use the same curly brackets method inside the attributes. So even if it's not inside the tag, you can use it. So instead of this src, let me just, okay. You can add the variable tag like curly brackets here, and then say props dot URL. Let's just say that, yeah. And then we can press save. And then if we go back to it, it's probably not gonna show you anything because we haven't decided, or we haven't told which title and which src to use in the main app function. So next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do that. So in the app.jsx, I'll keep this like here so you can look at it. Now we're gonna tell them which title and which src we wanna use. Okay, so we can say title is, I like project one. Let's say it's an awesome project one. Okay, and then we can also define URL to whatever we just copied and pasted over, right? Okay, and if we save it, okay, we should be able to see the one project that has the title and the URL that we specified. You probably only see one because we are yet to pass in the title and URL for the second one. So let's kind of do that too here. You can say this one, the title is less awesome project, which is sad, but you know what, life is not always awesome. Okay, and then URL, we can choose whichever URL. I'll just pick another project from my personal website. Copy image address, then here. Okay. Okay, here. Okay, I hope everyone is following along okay for this. Yeah, so what's supposed to do is now we should be able to see like two different titles and two different images in our, I guess, running website. To see awesome project one. Oh my God, my project one's so awesome, I'm so proud. And then it has the little image. And then the second one is less awesome, but as you said, life is life. And then it has a different photo. Nice. And then even in the future, if I'm in a grind mindset and if I'm pumping out projects, I can just add projects over and over again, like just like how we just did with different title and different URL without needing to hard code everything in every time. Okay, good. Is everyone doing okay? Following along okay? I'll keep this up here while I go to the next slide. So if anyone wants to, I guess, need some more time to copy things over, they can do it. But next thing is a little bonus, which is styling. So as we said, we still have the grossly large, like width and big image. And we don't want that because it's ugly. Well, yeah, it's ugly, so we don't want that. And if we were to use vanilla JavaScript, we would have to define it in every single component. But in using React, it's amazing because you can quite literally just define the styling in this project component, and then it'll apply to all of the project components. So we're gonna try to do that. It's just gonna be like a quick, simple thing. And okay, so first to begin with, we'll do the little. We'll first put this entire thing into a div, and copy whatever's inside over here. Div is just a container. It doesn't have any real functionality. So this shouldn't change anything. Just put it in a different container so we can apply styling to that container. And then the way we apply style is the style. And then again, it kind of pre-populates the little curly brackets saying like, this is you want to look at it as a variable. And the styling for React is slightly more confusing in a sense that it is, so anything inside the brackets, you're expecting it to be variable. If you want to pass in the like regular kind of CSS styling, you have to put another layer saying that like this variable is a CSS variable. So you have to put another curly brackets in, and then you can put something like, not Windows, width, yeah. Width is equal to, let's say 50 VW, which means viewport width, the width of whatever you're viewing. So it's gonna be like half the size of the viewport width, hopefully. Okay, and then we save. And if we go back to the main website, oh my God, it's still big. Okay, let's try to get it to like 500 pixels. Will that make it small? Oh my God, it's still so big. You can say, oh, actually, we don't want to move the div, sorry, my bad. We're gonna put it in the image actually. That's gonna be 50. Okay, this should make the image smaller. Oh, awesome, finally, okay. Hiccups, that's my life, okay. So yeah, if we put, I mean, you could totally do the div imaging. Right now, I don't have like Flexbox or anything, so the image can be larger than div, and that's what it was happening. But yeah, if you can kind of apply styling directly to images, so all the future images that we apply to this like project will all have the same property, which is the 50 window or viewport width. Okay, so hopefully that's good. That's how you're gonna do styling. Another thing about React is if you were to do the regular CSS styling where you put like class or you define ID or class name, if you want to do like class, you cannot do class equals whatever class name. You have to use class name, which is like a small kind of inconvenience, but that's because the word class is already kind of taken, so React had to use something else. But yeah, okay. So now we have a little break time. What time is it? Okay, 6. That's not that bad, I guess. We're gonna take a quick 5-minute break if that's okay. And then while we're taking a break, if you are having trouble with any of it, raise hand, TAs will go and help out. The slide's not in there. I think the slides are there. No? I think GitHub is not there. It might not be. Maybe I'm. It's in the
Okay.
It's in like the non-public one. So
Yes. I will post it.
Okay, I'll just go. Oh, okay. Michelle, can you come? Or Martin? Okay, hello. I am back. There isn't much left. I hate going overtime, so we'll definitely be in time. Yeah, well, hopefully. Okay. So what we have left is we already talked about components and everything. So what we have left is React states and hooks, which is the really juicy and nice part about React. I unfortunately cannot or decided not to go over like more complicated hooks like use effect and stuff. But React state is like one of the most basic things that you want to know to really use React. So yeah, we're gonna talk about that. So states. So amazing thing about React is it stores the state of the app at any point of time within its component. So any component can have its own state. It doesn't need to. So like state as in like maybe you want to store like how many times the button was clicked. You want to store if it's dark mode or light mode. You might want to store, I don't know, like if the user likes something or not like something. And all of that stuff that's specific to the component, we can store it in states. Yeah, there are all the examples. And anytime you need to store a state like this, we can use the useState hook. So it's called hook because it lets you hook onto the state and change it, modify it, update it, and all that. Yeah, so what are hooks? Hooks are functions that let you hook into React state and lifecycle feature from function components. Mouthful, what it does is it lets you use and change and do things with states. So two rules of hooks, you usually don't face these unless you're trying to do something wrong. But you're not supposed to call hooks inside loops or conditions or nested functions. You also don't call hooks from regular JavaScript functions. You'll know what that means later on, but okay, so the React hook that we're gonna talk about mostly is the useState hook, which is arguably one of the most used hook at all times. So what it does, it creates a state and it creates another function that updates the state. And you can, and you probably should also pass in a value to the useState set to a default value. So in this case, if you say like useState 10, and if you pass in 10 to the useState, what it does is it sets the counter variable to 10 as a default value. And then it also initiates the set counter, which is a function that you can use to set the counter variable, so update the counter variable. If you don't do this, React initialize the variable with null by default, and sometimes you don't want that. If you're like, I don't know, if it's a light mode or dark mode, you probably don't want to have null state. So you probably, default into dark mode because who use light mode, right? And then you can turn on toggle to change it to light mode or something like that. Okay, so how are you gonna use that in our project? So it's a bit forced, I know, but it works. How we're gonna do is we're gonna let the users scrolling through our website to be able to select or click on the image of the website to indicate that you like this project. So it's kind of, maybe it's a little bit hard to see, but right under the project title, it's gonna say like, you like this project, exclamation mark, which means like if you click on the image, it's gonna show that you have liked this project. And if you click it again, then you disliked it. So the little you like this project tag will disappear. So that's what we're gonna do. Okay. So how it's gonna work is we're gonna, actually I think this is better. I personally do prefer having it side by side, but in this case, let's do this. So we're gonna mostly talk about this project.jsx. We're gonna work in the project.jsx file where, so first we want to use state. So we have to use state function to initialize the state. We're gonna do const, and then we always pass in pair. So the variable and the function to update the variable. So let's say like, and then set liked. Yeah, that's what I used there as well. Okay. And then, oh my God, sorry for the Zoom people. Yeah, and then use state for default value. I mean, you could be like, I love myself. I'm gonna default it that everyone likes my project. But I think realistically, we're gonna default it to false. And then maybe on click, we're gonna set that, oh, they like the project. Okay, so there's this, and then it's gonna complain because use state is not defined. You can do the nice thing where you only complete half and it tells you what to do. And then you press on it and it tells you like, or it imports it for you, or you can type it yourself. But useState is part of the native React library, so you can just do that without, I guess, adding further libraries in. Oh my God. Okay, so that's this, and we can save. It's not gonna do anything. Oh my God. Okay, give me a second. Let me just cough a couple times to get rid of this. Okay. Okay, and then how are we gonna change the state? So we said we want to click the image to change change if they like the project or did not like the project. So how we're gonna do it is on click. So on click is an attribute that you can pass on to images where it kind of defines what's gonna happen if you, well, what's gonna happen on click of the image. And then in the on click, we're gonna use the little arrow function that we talked about earlier, saying we're gonna set light to, well, if you set light to true, then if they, every time they click it, it's gonna set it to true. So it doesn't, it's not gonna do the little, if it's true, then it becomes false. If it's false, it becomes true. So we can do, it's gonna like do not liked. So if the project is liked, then you're gonna change it to not liked, which is not liked, false. And then if it's false, and if the project isn't liked, then you're gonna change it to the opposite of it, which is true. Okay, good. And you save it. If you were to go back and click the image, it's, I mean, the state's gonna be frantically changing to like and not like, but we haven't really used it, so it's not gonna happen right now. Another amazing thing is you can kind of see it in the slides, but the great thing about React is you can show or not show component with this really easy hack, which is you set a Boolean, and then if you do Boolean end, whatever the little component that you want to show, it's going to only show when Boolean is true. So we're going to use that. So in between header and image, you're going to do a little curly bracket. Again, it's telling you to evaluate whatever is inside the curly brackets before you show it. And then the curly brackets, you're gonna do liked, and then a little paragraph saying like, you like this project. Okay, and then you save it. So the paragraph, the P is the little tag for paragraph, saying like, you like this project's only gonna show when the liked is true, and the liked variable is gonna be toggled when you click on the image. Let's see if I did this correctly or if I made stupid mistakes, because I do that all the time. Okay, let's click. Oh my God, it says you like the project. And because the liked and set liked functionality is bound to each component, you can also like the other project. And this is not going to change the property specific to this first awesome project component. So you can, they work separately. So you can unlike it, like it, unlike it as you want. If you do in the future want to have it like, oh, you chose your favorite project or something, then you'll add the use state to like favorite or something, and you're going to have it in the app. So it only pertains to, I guess, one component at a time. Okay. Okay, so that is everything that I have, and I am, yes, I didn't go over time, so that's a W for me. that's everything I have planned officially. You can use that links to the socials. You can stay connected. But also, I did prepare like a little slides for the use effect stuff. If you guys do want to stay behind and kind of hear me talking through it, we can do that. Or else feel free to leave if you need to catch a bus or whatever. That's also fine. But yeah, would anyone be interested into like listening what use effect does? Yeah, okay. Great, thanks. You guys are awesome. Okay. So use effect. So what use effect? Use effect is like one of the other really often used hooks. And what it does is it detects if any of the change of state or change of, I guess, the mounted unmounted state of a component, and you can define what to do when those changes happen. So we say component is mounted when they first appear on the screen or when they're first like rendered, I guess, and then unmounted when they disappear from the screen, and update when the state variable is changed. As I said, use effects lets you to detect when any of these changes happen and follow up by doing something. How exactly that's gonna work is like this. So you can use effect, you can use it in 3 different ways. First one is when you want to do something when the component is first rendered only. So it's gonna like, maybe it's like calling a fetch call to call the database to get all the data or something like that. Usually you don't want to do it like every time because it's gonna be expensive, it's gonna be big. So you only want to do it once. Or you can also do it when first renders and every time when the component re-renders. This will be something like if you want to, I don't know, if you want to I don't know, maybe like time or something, like, you know, if you want to show like a clock where the time is getting updated every single tick, something like that, then you might want to do it. But usually you really don't want to because it's like super expensive. Even for time, you want to set it to like seconds or minutes or something, because this component re-render happens like every tick, which is like in milliseconds, like every time it refreshes, it happens. So if you do like a console log and then do the use effect on every render, you can see the number going up, like skying up. It's gonna be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's gonna go up like so much. So you usually don't wanna use that. Last case is we want to do something when the component first renders and the specific state updates. So this would be like, for example, like dark mode, light mode, stuff like that. So whenever the, I guess, light mode, dark mode state changes, we want to re-render and have a different kind of CSS. Like that would be kind of an example of when we would use the last case. And how we distinguish between these 3 cases is with the second argument. So use effect, you're going to use it by saying this, using this function. So use effect is a function that takes in another function that defines that you define what to do. In this first case, over here, this is when the first we do something when component first renders only. So we put little like an array kind of rectangular square bracket, and you don't put anything in. So it's gonna only render first time. And if you don't have that square brackets, it's gonna render every tick. And then if we put the little or list of variables, currently in the example, it only has count, but it can have as many variables as you want. And the use effect will get updated every time any of those variables get updated. So if you say like count, comma, dark mode, comma, state, comma, time, comma, like all these things, then it's gonna be re-rendering every time any of those variable changes. If you want to do different things based on different variable, no problem. You can have as many use effect as you want. So you're going to create another use effect function with like different variables. So if you want to do like, I don't know, refresh, or if you want to do, refresh and change the CSS on dark mode change, but if you want to add one to the, I don't know, list of items when you click the button, then you would have two different use state hooks. That one will change on the button click, and the second one will change on the dark mode change kind of thing. Okay, so that's kind of an example. I was like thinking of follow along, but I feel like it's a lot, like it's gonna get a lot longer if you do follow along, so I don't have it. But definitely feel free to like Google it up. There's a lot of good like resources out there that describes it and explains it a bit better than I did, because they get paid to do it. I don't. Anyway, so feel free to search it up and just investigate more into it. It's really useful. It'll be really useful to your project as well. And yeah, that's kind of everything I have. Yeah, feel free to stay connected, our socials and everything, and hope you guys are taking something back that's useful. And yeah, if you have any feedback, let me know. Yeah, and happy hacking. I hope to see everyone tomorrow.